Welcome in to the Get Your Happy On Hour, featuring former Husker receiver Ricky Simmons.
Welcome to the Get Your Happy On Hour. I'm your host, Ricky C. Simmons on 93.7 The Ticket. Big shout out to Matt Warner, man, Waverly, Nebraska. Empower Fencing is doing big things, and I appreciate all the love and support. I always try to show love to them because they've always showed love to me. You know, I had a very interesting week, so I'm going to get right to my guest tonight, though, because I got a lot of stuff that we can talk about. And my guest tonight, let me say it this way. My guest tonight is also my business partner. And she handles all the stuff that I don't care to handle and really can't handle. And she does a great job of doing the things that I do not like to do. She's a lot like Ben, you know, when it comes to what I do. I mean, it takes people to make me look good, and that's a full-time job, and they both let me know that prior to the show. So welcome to the show, Kim Kelly.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I appreciate the fact that you were able to come down and hang out with us. But I like for people to really just know who you are. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off at the beginning. Yeah. Where is Kim Kelly from?
I was born and raised in Sioux City, Iowa.
What? The big city of Sioux City?
Big city of Sioux City, Iowa. Now, don't be confused.
Okay.
I'm on the Iowa side, yes.
Okay.
But my parents were from Northeast Iowa, or Northeast Nebraska.
Okay.
So I was born with Husker blood.
Okay.
So I may have grown up in Iowa.
Okay.
Now, this is another thing people might not know, too, is that Sioux City is in the tri-state, is a tri-state city.
Okay.
So the Missouri River actually separates Nebraska, Iowa, and South Dakota. Oh. So yeah, just across the river is Nebraska. So,
growing up in Sioux City, Iowa,
yeah,
I know there had to be some Hawkeye fans.
we were that family on the neighborhood that flew their Nebraska flag, and everybody else in the neighborhood was Hawkeye fans, and we were those obnoxious Nebraska fans.
So you're lucky to have a house to grow up in.
Yeah. So no, it was all good. It was fine. So
now, growing up in Sioux City, Kim, what was sports a part of your life?
Yeah, very much so.
I know you're a fan, but I mean, personally, did you play any sports?
I am. I'm a sports fanatic, but it comes from my DNA.
Okay. Can you explain that?
Very, very athletic family, and so I wouldn't say that it was expected, but we all grew up knowing that we were probably going to play some kind of athletic sport. So yeah, I played volleyball and basketball in high school, and I went on. Had an opportunity to play at a small D2 college up in northern Iowa.
What was that school?
Northwestern College.
Northwestern College.
Yeah.
Big shout out to Northwestern.
Yeah, it's funny because I'll say Northwestern, and then people will ask me, Northwestern Chicago, Northwestern. I'm like,
yeah.
It's so hard for me not to say, yeah. No, it wasn't that good. But I did have an opportunity to play in college, and so that was a great opportunity for me.
How did you like playing college sports?
It was I liked it. It was hard, I'm going to be honest with you, to balance school and athletics.
Yes,
it's a big challenge, and I give kudos to any collegiate athlete out there. A student athlete. Mm-hmm. There's a lot that you have to juggle with that. And so for that year, I played for a year. Mm-hmm. And then I think that I just decided that, you know what, I need to focus a little bit more on my studies.
Gotcha.
It was just, I was young and just trying to balance everything out. So I took a year off, went back home and lived with my parents after going to college for a year. That was hard. That was the hardest year after being by yourself,
right.
and you know how independent I am anyway. And so going back home, and so I got a couple jobs, and Mom and Dad said, well, you just basically gave up your scholarship. So guess what, Kim? You're going to work for the next year, and you are going to go back to school, but you're going to pay for it.
Wow. Okay. That puts a change in there.
And I'm so glad they did that, even though that was a challenging year. Mm-hmm. it really set a precedent for my work ethic. It really set a precedent for what I really wanted to do. It was no longer my mom and dad's journey. Now it was Kim's journey, and how was Kim gonna go follow through with that? Because I really didn't have to go back to school, but that in my mind was, yes, that's what you're going to do, and you're going to find a way to do it. And mom and dad aren't going to help this time.
Uh-oh.
And basketball is not going to help this time.
So it's all
It's
on you.
all on Kim.
Right.
So, so I ended up going to Des Moines Area Community College over in Ankeny. I had to pay for my own, so I thought, well, I'll go to a community college and pay, because I had to pay for it myself, and get my prereqs done that way, and then kind of figure out where I wanted to go. And I'll follow through. I'll go back to this later. But I'm very much like you, where I thought I knew everything.
Oh,
in fact,
yeah.
I think I thought I knew everything until I had a child.
Oh, okay.
And then I realized my mom and dad were maybe a little bit smarter than what I ever gave them
So
credit for.
you suffered from a little bit of the genius syndrome as well. Okay.
Yeah. I knew everything.
Right.
And I certainly wasn't. My dad went to Wayne State.
Oh, okay.
And there were two things I wasn't going to do. I wasn't going to go to Wayne State because that's where my dad went. I was
Okay.
stubborn Kim, and I know that you're surprised. And I wasn't going to get into sales, and we'll get into that later.
Okay.
Two things that.
Well,
I
Kim,
did.
it sounds like you started off, and from what little bit I know before this interview, you've always been very independent. So I'm not surprised by that part. But I guess when you finally got done with school,
Yeah.
what profession did you go into?
Well, I was an exercise physiology major in college. I graduated from Wayne State, so I did go. I did go to Wayne.
Did I hear you right? Did you go to Wayne
I
State?
ended up going, so that was the point. I mean, there were certain things I was not going to do, stubborn, but things happen in the way that they're supposed to, and so I was an exercise physiology major. That's a really fancy word for learning how the body moves through
Gotcha.
sport and movement. And so didn't have a clue what I was going to do with it. I was a former athlete, and I thought, well, this sounds fun. So I ended up being a personal trainer. So I graduated from Wayne State and ended up coming to Omaha. I live in Omaha now, and I was a personal trainer.
Oh, okay.
And I realized very, very quickly that there is no way that on a personal training salary you were going to be able to make a lot of your bills. So I had to start really thinking really fast, what really am I going to do with my career, because personal training wasn't going to cut it. I don't even know if my parents are watching right now, they probably don't even know this, but while I was going through this transition, I had it in my mind that I was going to go back to school and get my master's in physical therapy. So sales was never on my radar. And again, my dad's been in the financial services business, sales for 50 years. And I was going to do everything my dad didn't do.
and go to Wayne State or not go to Wayne State.
So sales was definitely not on my radar either. So while I was doing this personal training, they needed somebody to go out and market this device. And I could still do my personal training, but then half of the day I was going out and visiting businesses and marketing and selling this device. Never had sold anything in my whole entire life.
What type of device did they have you selling?
It was for workers' comp. It was like a device where you could bring into more of an industrial type business where people are lifting a lot and doing labor type jobs.
Right.
And so it was a device where they could dictate whether or not this person could lift those boxes or could do certain things. It's been so long ago, I can't even remember the details of it, but I know that's what it was. So they needed somebody to go out and sell, and it was patented by the guy that owned the gym that I worked at.
Oh, okay.
So he needed somebody just to go out and just start.
So you was really just experimenting.
Yeah, I had no idea what I was doing.
Wow.
No clue. I was just going out talking to people.
Did you have any success doing it?
Well, I don't know if I had very much success doing that, but what I did learn is that while I thought I was going to go into physical therapy school, I realized very quickly that I not only liked doing that, I was pretty good at it.
Okay.
I mean, at least I had it in my gut, like I think I could do this.
Right,
Now,
right.
this was back in 1994. I'm dating myself.
That's
but
all good.
This was back when the pharmaceutical industry, big pharma, being a pharmaceutical rep
Right.
was the hot, sexy job, right?
Right, right.
And so I got in my head, okay, I could probably make just as much money being a pharmaceutical rep and not having to go back to school and have more loans and do that. So I ended up going into a recruiting office, a headhunter, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
And, 24 years old, walking in there all cocky, like
Walking like you're on the place.
Because I know everything, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because I'm a genius,
You got the
right?
genius syndrome working.
And I'm like, this is what I want to do, so I'm going to do it. So I walk in there, sit across the table from this recruiter, and I hand him my resume, and she says, what do you want to do? And I said, I want to be a pharmaceutical rep.
Wow.
Very confident.
With no experience.
No experience whatsoever. I don't know what I was thinking, and she laughed at me.
Oh.
It devastated me at the time. Like, what do you mean I can't? This is what I want to do. And she goes, okay, if that's really what you want to do, you're going to go and you're going to sell copiers for 100% commission for 3 years.
Wait a minute. Say that again. Sell copiers
So it's copy machines. Copiers.
for 3 years?
So I went out to, cold calling every
Oh, wow.
business in town, and for 3 years, but it had to be 100% commission. You couldn't have a salary.
Oh, wow.
And she wanted it that way because she wanted to see what kind of drive and work ethic I had. She goes, if you can do a 100% commission job in sales for 3 years and keep your lights on and keep food on the table, you can pretty much sell anything. And it was a challenge. I think that she thought, there's no way.
Yeah, you were going to just say, you know what?
Yeah.
I think I'll try something different.
Yeah. I accepted that challenge.
Kim Kelly. So after doing that, what did you find out about yourself and your work ethic?
Well, I found out that at 3 years exactly,
Yeah.
I got my pharmaceutical job.
Wow.
So I put my mind to something, work ethic, working hard. I mean, it was the best advice that anybody could have ever given me.
Uh-huh.
Not because of the challenge, but because she knew what it would take for me to have longevity in a sales career. Sales is not an easy task.
Right. And it's not for everybody.
It's not for everybody.
Right.
No. It takes a very special kind of person to go through all of that.
Well, I mean, I was sitting there just thinking about the first challenge of selling copiers 100% commission. I mean, that's kind of asking a lot of a person. And you didn't flinch. You just, okay. You say I can't do it, or you think I can't do it, I'll show you.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I got from that.
Yep.
And once you became a pharmaceutical rep, how did that turn out for you? I mean, did you like it, or?
Oh yeah, I did. As anybody that's in the sales industry, and there's a lot of people that will understand what I'm saying, sales is very tumultuous, and it's not real stable.
Right.
Some are, so I'm not going to say 100%.
Right.
But most people will say it's a pretty, you never know if you're going to have a job. It's kind of.
Yeah.
So there were a lot of ups and downs and all arounds throughout my whole entire career, but I can say 30 years later, going through everything that I've gone through in my career, I wouldn't have wanted it any other way. And that sounds silly to say that because it's been hard.
Right.
And but it's taught me so much about myself, about just who I am. When you go through hard times, as you know.
Oh, absolutely. You find out who you are.
You find out a lot about yourself.
Yeah.
You
Well,
find out a lot about the people around you.
Well, adversity.
Yeah.
Adversity has a way of bringing the truth. You find out a lot about yourself. You find out a lot about the people that you thought cared. You find out a lot about things people used to say they care, but their actions didn't always match. So adversity is a very good teacher. I mean, I've always heard that expression, experience is the best teacher. Mm-hmm. I think adversity does a wonderful job of assisting experience in teaching.
Yeah. And I would echo that with every experience that we go through, good or bad.
Right.
There's growth in that, or there should be growth in that.
Right.
And as many times as I've fallen flat on my face, and let me tell you, I've probably fallen flat on my face more than I've succeeded. Mm-hmm. But the success success is defined by differently for people. For me, success isn't the falling down. Success is actually the getting back up again.
Correct. I agree with that.
And I think that sometimes life is a journey, and we have to fall down sometimes.
Yeah.
I fell down a lot more than what I would like to have, but it's I am who I am today because of it.
Well, the one thing I will say about that, Kim, is through these failures, it builds a lot more character because failing, I hate to admit to this, but failing does help because I've seen people who've had a lot of success with very little failure. When they do have failure, oh man, they don't handle it well, and I'm not trying to be negative here, but I got to say this, but people that don't know how to deal with failure have a more difficult time with life because life is going to throw us curves. Life's going to be challenging. Life's going to be ups and downs, as you say. And a lot of people that have not faced adversity, they seem to have a lot more difficulty just dealing with life because I personally understand that the importance of getting up, as you say. I mean, I can speak from experience when I say this. I fell enough to understand that concept. I had no choice but to get back up because I didn't like being on the ground. And I applaud you for that because a lot of people didn't get up.
But you know what, Ricky? You didn't have to get up either. You did.
Yeah,
There's
it was a choice. Yeah.
It was a choice, and every single day is a choice.
Right.
And for you, your story is so inspiring because there are a lot of people out there that wouldn't have gotten up when you did.
Well, let me say this to you. I appreciate you saying that, but as my business partner, I expect you to say that too because I appreciate that because that's the part that you have to do that I don't like to do. You have to sell Ricky Simmons. And that's, as Ben will tell you, that's a challenging job. But I'll say this, I appreciate what you do on my behalf because I really just want to go out and do what I do. And, I don't want to do the part I don't want to do your job, and I've told you that before. So just the fact that you're willing to take that on along with everything else you got going on in your life, it's just me publicly saying thank you.
You're welcome, and it's a pleasure.
Well,
as hard as I say you are to work with, it's
hey, you know what? Ben done already told me I'm hard to work with, but that's okay.
Let everybody know he is not that hard to work with. We just give him a hard time, but no, it's a pleasure and it's an honor.
Well, let me say this: you've been I want people to know how we even started this. I think you showed up at the film festival, and we met afterwards and briefly talked, and then I think we just started following each other on social media, and then it turned into conversations, and then I was like, well, Kim, I mean, I know you got your plate full, but would you be interested in helping me, work out these deals with people when they, when it's time to go and speak? And just like the lady that challenged you with the copiers, okay, 100% commission, okay. And I just, again, I think that took courage, and I appreciate the fact that you respect and appreciate my story, but I also appreciate the fact that you wanted to be a part of that and be involved. So, for those of you that don't know Kim, and you need to know this. Kim is a real dedicated person to what she does, whatever that may be. She goes all in. Very competitive, probably a bigger competitor actually than me, because for those of you who don't know, I played sports, but it wasn't really something that I loved, but it was just something I could do. Kim loved it, and she approaches everything else like that. So I just want y'all to know who we're listening to and who we're speaking with today. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come right back with Kim Kelly on 93.7 The Ticket. It's to get you happy on hour. Don't go anywhere.
Get Your Happy On Hour, featuring former Husker receiver Ricky Simmons.
Well, we're back. 93.7 The Ticket to Get You Happy on Hour. Got my business partner Kim Kelly in the house. You know, Kim, we were talking during the break about, some of the things that you took on for me. I would like to get, or I'd like for the audience to hear your side of it. They've heard my side. So let's hear what you think. And I don't know if I should get out of the room right now, but I'm going to listen in. What do you think about being in this business relationship with me?
Well, like I said before, it's an honor and it's a privilege to do that first and foremost.
Thank you.
I have to backtrack. We actually met many, many years ago. When I was in the audience for one of your speeches. And I listened very intently to what you said. I actually started following you way before you started following me, because you made an impact on my life many years ago before you even knew that.
See there, Ben, I actually have a little bit of impact on people.
You have a big impact on people, which is why I do what I do.
Okay.
And then, yes, kind of followed for a while, and then you had your documentary in Omaha for the movie.
Right.
It was at the movie fest.
Omaha
Film Festival.
Yes.
Yeah, and went there and finally, met you. And just kind of, I think that for you and I, and this is what's so important when you are in a business partnership. So you did come to me, but you didn't come to me right away with this. When you're going into a business partnership, you not only have to know that person.
Right.
And there was we had to really get to know each other, because we're two completely different people that are on the same page with most everything, but we came from completely different backgrounds, experiences, and whatnot.
Correct.
And you had to get to know me, and I really had to get to know you, really. And then we have to like each other, right?
Right.
So we have to like being around each other. And then the most important part of it is that we have to trust one another.
Correct.
And the fact that you trusted me enough with your business to come to me, that was a huge thing for me. And the fact that I equally could trust you with,
correct,
here's what I think, Ricky. And you do listen to me every now and then. You don't, every now and then.
Don't say that too loud. Ben's listening.
But it's funny. I listen to you too. It's a two-way street.
Right.
And there's this respect for one another that we have, but it really ultimately comes down to trusting one another. And I think that's huge when you have a business partnership with anybody.
Right.
Because you're right. I don't want to do what you do. I don't want to get up on stage and you have the story. You have the impact. I do all the background stuff. I do all of the contracts and making sure that you look good, basically, which is not a hard thing to do. I know we give you a hard time, but it's really not that hard, Ben. Right? Yeah. But for me, this has been so much better than what at first when I said, yeah, I'll take that on. It was just a business partnership. What I have learned through you, getting to know you, watching the impact that you make on others, I get the privilege of being able to stand in the back of the room. And there was one event that we were at where you're like, see that woman back there pacing around back there? She's a bulldog. I'm a nice bulldog, though. But while I'm pacing around like that, actually what I'm doing is I'm watching people's reactions to things. And it has been so refreshing and so wonderful and impactful to me to see how you impact other people. And it's not, your story is about, drug and alcohol awareness. I mean, that's really, the focus. Right. But let me tell everybody this. There isn't one person that wouldn't be impacted no matter where they come from. If they're old, young, man, woman, drug addict, whatever. Your story impacts everybody in the room. And I get the privilege of being able to watch that. And then also I get the privilege of being just the bridge to bring your story to somebody that needs to hear it. And that is a beautiful thing. For me, it gives me purpose. So this is way more than just a business partnership. For me, this is bringing me my purpose in life, which has always been building relationships. The reason why I got into sales.
Right.
Even though I have a good skill set for sales,
yes,
I don't know if I necessarily enjoy the sales aspect of it. That's just part of it. I love the business or the relationship building and the connectivity of
I want to say this while it was on my mind. I appreciate you saying what you said, because a lot of times I've been looked upon as just drug and alcohol awareness, and it really is more than that. It's basically showing people that adversity exists in everybody's life. I don't know anybody on the planet that's exempt from adversity, and my story is just one example that adversity don't always got to win. Whether it's in a corporate setting, whether it's in a school setting, a church setting, it doesn't matter. I don't know anyone that doesn't have adversity or hasn't had adversity or is not going to have adversity.
If you haven't been through it or you're not going through it, hold on.
Yeah.
You're gonna.
Oh, absolutely.
And if you don't, there's part of me that almost feels sorry for people that haven't been through something like that, because where do you grow?
Right.
If you don't have some kind of adversity. And I try to grow, and I know I've learned so much from you. When I'm going through hard times, you're the first person that I call, because you're my positive compass in those times. And I try really hard to have a grateful and thankful heart even in those bad times, because no matter if you're going through good or bad, you're learning something along the way, right?
Right. It's very hard to see that sometimes, especially when you're going through the down period.
Yeah.
The down times is really, really challenging. It's easy to be upbeat and positive when everything's good and, money is not a problem, bills paid, you got a little extra here. Yeah, it's really easy. It's when things aren't going well, that's when you really find out, who wants to be positive and who can be positive. Because I've seen people, and this is just one example, I've seen people when they were on top, I saw how they carried themselves. Then I've seen them when things weren't good, and I watched how they carried themselves. And positive mental attitude is something that I try to promote to everybody, but I say it so much and I use it in such a humorous way, a lot of people take it as if it's easy. Positive mental attitude and being happy is a full-time job.
It's a decision every single day.
Absolutely.
And you can allow those negative thoughts to creep in so fast, and you can spiral. But you know what? You can counteract that very quickly.
Right.
Anybody can do it.
Right.
You said some people can, some people can't. No, I think everybody can.
Yes.
Not everybody does. There's a difference.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I like how you worded that, because to be honest with you, it is a choice.
It is, and it's hard, and it is. It's not easy to do it, but it's a lot easier if you do it that way.
And I think this goes for everybody, but I guess I'm really kind of speaking to our youth at this moment. Out of fairness to the youth, and this is not making excuses for them, but they have more distractions than I had, growing up.
Yeah.
I mean, bullying wasn't that big of a, bullying wasn't that big of a deal for me. Social media didn't exist, so I didn't, the technology wasn't as advanced as it is. So I didn't have those kind of distractions. I think I always like to say my distractions were self-inflicted, but I think, today's youth, a lot of their distractions have been almost forced upon them, and what I mean by that is in my travels, I notice things like, say, in an airport, I'll see a toddler that's just having a bad moment, and the parent hands them a technical device, whether it be a tablet or a phone or something, and all of a sudden they're at peace. So it's like I didn't have those type of experiences. We had this thing back when I was growing up. It was called discipline. I think today it's called child abuse, but I mean that's just the way things have changed.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying discipline was the answer, because I still had my faults. But it when I figured out what life was really about and got my life together, the discipline part came into play again.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying to you is this: I want to see everybody be successful. I don't know how to fix all of people's problems, but I would like to try and help. And with your help, I've been able to do a lot more of it.
Yeah.
Kim, if someone did want to reach out to you, how would they go about reaching out to you? I mean, how do you contact Kim Kelly? Social media or whatever?
Yeah, I would say I'm on all the social media platforms. Facebook, you can message me on Facebook. Just Kim Kelly, Kelly is my how you spell my last name. Find me there, message me there. You can certainly get a hold of Ricky.
Yeah.
And he knows how to find me.
Yep. I can definitely direct you.
Yeah. And I can give my email address. Maybe Ben can put that in the stream somewhere where you can email me as well. I can give it to you now, but it's long. Do you want me to give it to you? Is that okay? It's just Kimberly Kelly Ann 1@gmail.com.
Okay.
So if you need anything, any questions about, booking Ricky or anything like that, I'm available for that.
I really appreciate that. Kim, I also got to ask you this. You got an event coming up next week. And it's a pretty big deal. And you put in a lot of work on that as well.
Yeah.
So would you feel comfortable sharing about the event?
Yeah.
Tell us about the event you got coming up and the date.
Yeah. So as I mentioned, I'm from Sioux City, Iowa. And so I'm an alumni of the Sioux City Public Schools. And so that's where my heart is. I truly believe that our children are our future. Education is very important. And so I try to give back as much as I can. So this isn't necessarily, it's not my tournament. I just play play the best supporting actress role in this. But Karen Harrison is the director of business development for the Sioux.
Karen's your friend, right?
Karen is my friend. She's a high school friend of mine, and we're partners as well in this business too. But this is really her tournament, and I just come alongside of her and do what I can for her, for the Sioux City Schools Foundation. But
I'm going to say this way. I know Karen is her deal. I get it. But I think you had a big task assigned to you, and not an easy one. Would you like to share with everybody what one of your tasks? You got several, but the one where you had to recruit, I think, people to participate?
Well, this is so July 29th is the actual golf tournament up in Sioux City at the Sioux City Country Club.
Okay.
This year, we're really excited. This is the 4th annual golf tournament, but it's the 3rd annual celebrity golf tournament.
Okay.
So the first year that we did this, Eric Crouch was our celebrity. We had one, and he was great, and he is actually my co-chair for recruiting chair for the tournament. So I can't take all the credit for the guys that we have coming in this year. But yeah, that has been my job, is to do the recruitment for the celebrities.
And don't be modest right now. Tell us some of the names. Just do some name dropping on some of the
people. So we're really excited this year. We're kind of doing something a little bit different. We're having we're bringing everybody that's been to the tournament in the past, but then we're bringing a new featured player every single year. So this year we have your friend and mine, Mr. Marcus Dupree from Oklahoma.
Big shout out to my little brother. Even though he's a Sooner, he's still my little brother.
He is a Sooner, but that's okay. We'll let him pass this time.
Yeah. You get a pass, Mark. Good.
No Boomer Sooners.
No Boomer Sooner. But
we'll let it pass.
We'll welcome him in.
So he's our new featured player that we have bringing in. We have the three Heismans. We have Johnny Rogers, Eric Crouch, of course, and Mike Rozier.
AKA Lovelace.
Lovelace, yes. He's always a good time to bring up. He was there. Those three were there last year as well. So they're coming back, and it's always great when they come back too. That means that maybe they had a good time, and we're doing something right.
Exactly.
Our very own ticket. Ricky Simmons will be there.
Ricky Simmons in the building. I'll be losing red Callaways with number 7 on everywhere. Right. So you can come out and get your souvenir, because I don't know where they're going, but they'll be over the course somewhere. They're red.
Last year was really, really fun with you, Ricky.
I didn't get to play.
You were trying to make everybody else famous that day.
Yeah, I was out there, man. I had a great time. People were very nice to me. I didn't get to actually play, so everybody was safe. I did get to take a lot of pictures, and I just had a good time.
You shook a lot of hands.
I shook a lot of hands, and it was just
took a lot of pictures, and it was really fun, and they loved you. So thank you for coming back.
Yeah, I'm going to be out there this year.
You're playing this year.
Yeah, I'm playing this year, so it's going to be on in my life. Them red Callaway with number 7 on them going to be everywhere. Who else you got coming?
Also, Jay Foreman will be there.
Jay Foreman, that's another one of my little brothers.
Yes, he was there last year as well. And then we have Tony Davis coming. He lives in Colorado now, so he's flying in. Yeah.
That's my big brother.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I'm picking Tony up at the airport. So.
I think you are.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I will definitely have him.
You make sure that he gets there.
He's going to get there, but I'm going to tell you now, he's going straight to the golf course. So you don't got to entertain Tony. Tony will entertain himself.
Yeah, he's going golfing right away when he gets up there.
Oh, he loves to golf. That guy can golf all day and all night, every day, and doesn't seem to get tired of it.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
So then we also have brought in Iowa quarterback Chuck Long.
Okay, Chuck Long. I remember him.
I want to say he played back in 80s
yeah,
when he played.
I remember playing against him.
I think so. Yeah, I think he was 80. I think it was 84.
He came, I think he was actually.
He was a little bit after you, or
no? He was actually there when I was there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I knew it was in the early 80s. So so he's coming back as well.
Okay.
And then we have Andre Allen from University of Northern Iowa.
Oh, okay.
Is coming as well. He's a defensive end. He played in the 90. I want to say he was 91 through 94-ish for University of Northern Iowa, and very accomplished player and great businessman, good man, that just wants to help the cause. And all you guys that are coming, it's an investment of your time as well. So we don't take that for granted. Mm-hmm. You invest a lot of time and energy into this, and people love seeing you, but we do appreciate you so much for coming.
Okay. Well, listen, we're going to take one more break, and then we're going to come back and wrap this thing up with Kim Kelly on 93.7 The Ticket. To Get You Happy on Hour. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Get Your Happy On Hour, featuring former Husker receiver Ricky Simmons.
We're back on 93.7 The Tickets to Get You Happy on Hour. Kim has shared quite a bit of information with us. I just personally want to thank her for everything she does on my behalf, but she also helps so many others. And I'm pretty sure Karen would probably agree with me on that. So, Kim, you keep doing what you do. I just have a question about something that's close to my heart that I like to do, but I always like to give my guests the opportunity. Is there anybody you want to shout out to?
Yes, of course. I didn't even mention my daughter.
Oh,
She's
Peyton?
Peyton Kelly out there. She is finishing up her last semester at UNL in graphic design. I always get that wrong. I think it's graphic design.
Well, I'll tell you one thing about Peyton. Excuse me. Peyton did a wonderful job of creating a flyer for me, and I use it weekly to advertise my show. So big shout out to Peyton.
She's doing big things.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And there are big things, more big things to come.
She's a manager at Layton's Pub. So a good little shout out for Layton's Pub and all the work that she does there. She's doing a phenomenal job of working full time and going to school full time. I'm so proud of her. So big shout out to her.
I wonder where that work ethic came from.
She's pretty amazing. I always say that I want to be just like her when I grow up.
There you go.
So I'm pretty proud of her. So she that's Peyton. And then I want to give a shout out to the Ticket for, doing everything that they do to give everybody a platform, to give you a platform.
Yes, big shout out to 93.7 The Ticket.
Thanks to DP and Rebecca and for just giving everybody a voice. Really appreciate that, for allowing me to come in as well and share a little bit about myself as well.
The Ticket has opened a lot of doors for a lot of us.
Yeah.
And we're grateful for that.
Yeah. So, I mean,
there's
Karen. I mean, I could give a shout out to the Sioux City Schools.
There you go.
The foundation is doing amazing things. I think going back to the golf tournament. If anybody, I will say this before we have to wrap up. If you want more information, I think there's only a couple foursomes left. So we're full. We're almost 144 players full, but I think there's a couple foursomes left. If you want to get some more information about how to get involved with that, you can go to the Sioux City Public Schools Foundation website, and it's basically it's Sioux City Public Schools Foundation.org, and all of the letters, the first letter of each of those words.
Okay.
And hopefully we can put that on too. So big shout out to them and all they're doing for the Sioux City Public Schools and those kids up there. They're doing amazing work. So I got to give them a shout out. And Karen, honestly, she's pulling this all together. I'm just the best supporting actress.
Well, you're doing a great job. And I just want to say this. Last question.
Yeah.
When you do get some downtime, if you ever get downtime, how does Kim Kelly get her happy on?
Oh man. Well, you're gonna laugh at this, but not really, because you're not gonna be surprised. But I am a sports fanatic. And so honestly, you put anything sports on the TV and I see competition of any sort, I'm there for it and I'm loving life right then, especially if it's Nebraska. Go Big Red. I bleed Husker Red through and through. So that's how I get my an Iowa person, right? So no, I'm a Nebraska person.
Well, Kim, again, thank you for being on the show. I'm going to wrap this show up the same way I do every week. Every day you blessed to see. It's just another day in paradise. And no matter what, you got to get your happy on. Go! Thank y'all. We'll see you next Sunday.